Welcome to Week 3, Lecture 1. This lecture is about one of the most fundamental decisions in operations management. What type of process should a firm use? By the end of this lecture, you should be able to look at any business and immediately classify its process type, understand why it was designed that way, and evaluate whether that design fits the firm's competitive strategy. Let's start with a question you already know the answer to. Take a look at these two businesses. McDonald's serves millions of customers every day. A custom tailor might serve a dozen. McDonald's has a fixed menu, standardized processes, and a kitchen designed like a factory. The tailor shop is flexible, skilled, and built around individual customer needs. Both are successful, both are profitable. But they made completely different process design decisions, and those decisions are not accidental. They are strategic. That is what this lecture is about. Process strategy is simply the approach a firm takes to transform inputs, labor, materials, equipment, into outputs, goods, and services. But the decision is far from simple. The process you choose determines your cost structure, how flexible you can be, and what level of quality you can consistently deliver. Most importantly, your process strategy must align with your competitive strategy. If you compete on cost, you need a high volume, low variety process. If you compete on customization, you need a flexible, low volume process. A mismatch is one of the most expensive mistakes an operations manager can make. Heiser identifies 4 fundamental process strategies, and they are organized along 2 dimensions, volume and variety. In the upper left, process focus is for low volume, high variety work. Think hospitals, law firms, custom print shops. Every job is different. Equipment is general purpose. Workers are highly skilled. In the upper right, repetitive focus uses standardized modules to produce moderate volumes. Think automobile assembly or appliance manufacturing. In the lower left, product focus is for high volume, low variety continuous production, paper mills, oil refineries, beverage bottling. In the lower right, mass customization is the most challenging strategy. It attempts to deliver high variety at high volume. Think Dell computers building to order, or Nike ID custom sneakers. Each strategy has a different cost structure, flexibility profile, and management challenge. Stevenson offers a slightly more granular taxonomy with 5 process types. Notice how they map directly onto Heiser's 4 strategies. The job shop is Heiser's process focus. Repetitive processing is Heiser's repetitive focus. Continuous processing is Heiser's product focus. Batch sits between job shop and repetitive. And project is a special case. It is unique, complex, and time-bound. For your working adult students, these categories will be immediately recognizable. If you have ever worked in a hospital, a bakery, a factory, or a construction project, you have worked inside one of these process types. The product process matrix is one of the most powerful tools in operations strategy. It maps product structure from low volume, high variety on the left to high volume, low variety on the right against process structure, from jumbled job shop flow at the top to continuous flow at the bottom. The key inside is the diagonal. Companies that sit on the diagonal are in the natural fit zone. Their process matches their product. A custom print shop is in the upper left. An oil refinery is in the lower right. A bakery sits in the middle. Now here is the important strategic point. Companies that operate off the diagonal pay a premium. If you use a job shop process to produce a high volume commodity product, your costs will be too high. If you use a continuous flow process to produce a wide variety of custom products, your flexibility will be too low. The matrix tells you where you are and where you should be. Slack adds an important layer to this discussion. The volume variety trade-off is not just a classification tool. It has direct implications for every process design decision you make. High volume operations benefit from repeatability. When workers do the same task hundreds of times a day, they get faster and more accurate. That repeatability enables specialization and automation, which drives down unit cost, but it also reduces flexibility. You cannot easily switch a bottling line from Coke to craft beer. Conversely, high variety operations require flexibility, general purpose equipment, multi-skilled workers, complex scheduling. That flexibility comes at a cost. The design implication from Slack is this: before you design a process, understand what your market requires. Are your customers buying on price, speed, customization? The answer should drive your process design choices. Let's apply the framework to businesses your students will recognize. Junior's restaurant in Brooklyn is famous for its cheesecakes. They produce high volumes of a relatively standardized product that is batch or repetitive focus. The Brooklyn Navy Yard hosts dozens of custom manufacturers: furniture makers, metal fabricators, artisan producers. Each one is a job shop. JetBlue at JFK operates with standardized aircraft, standardized service procedures, and high passenger volumes that is repetitive focus. And the NYC water supply system runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, producing a single standardized product at enormous scale that is continuous process. Ask your students to think about where they work or have worked. What process type describes their employer? Let's work through a solved example. Brooklyn Brew Company currently produces 12 craft beer varieties in small batches. That is a batch or process focus operation. They are considering expanding to just 2 flagship beers at much higher volume. That would move them toward a repetitive or product focus. The trade-off is real. They gain cost efficiency and automation potential, but they lose the flexibility and craft identity that probably built their customer base. This is a strategic decision, not just an operations decision. The product process matrix helps them see the implications before they commit. This second example is more complex and more realistic. The catering company is actually operating in 3 different zones of the product process matrix at the same time. Corporate events are repetitive focus. Weddings are batch. Private chef dinners are job shop. The implication is that they cannot optimize one kitchen for all 3 service types without paying a premium somewhere. This is a real challenge that many small businesses face. They try to serve too many market segments with one process. The matrix helps them see the trade-offs clearly and make a deliberate choice about where to focus. This week's case clinic asks students to apply the classification frameworks to a real company they know. The goal is not just to label the process type, it is to evaluate whether the process aligns with the competitive strategy and to identify a potential improvement. Encourage working adult students to draw on their own workplace experience. Their real-world examples will enrich the discussion for the traditional undergrads in the class. Let's recap the 5 key takeaways from this lecture. First, process strategy must align with competitive strategy. A mismatch is one of the most expensive operational mistakes a manager can make. Second, the 4 process strategies and 5 process types are all organized around the same 2 dimensions: volume and variety. Third, the product process matrix gives you a visual tool to check alignment. Fourth, there is a fundamental trade-off between cost efficiency and flexibility. You cannot fully maximize both at the same time. And fifth, in our next lecture, we will go inside the process and learn how to map it, measure it, and diagnose it using Cashon's 3 key process metrics.